Right now we're on the live stream. Are you warmed up? Yeah, we're going for it. He's there. Is it a bit noisy here? Yeah, come on, let's go over here. Sorry to interrupt you. Were you having a proper chat, were you? You never know. All right, okay, look, this is it. Like, you get two for the price of one, you know. So look, some of you might have heard Claire's podcast with the Byline Times that went out earlier on this week. I really encourage people to listen to that again. It's super, super good. Search for it. Claire Farrell, co-founder of Extinction Rebellion, Byline Times. It was a really, really strong message and explaining what's going on, what we're doing, and connecting it up. So Claire, you've been here today. Oh, it was a beautiful scene, wasn't it? On the bridge, a massive banner, the sunshine in front of Parliament. We're going to do this. 100,000 people, 100 days.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing at the moment for me is about having as many conversations as possible and doing all the work that you can to mobilise people. And I think because there's a massive concern for climate now in the UK, we know there's a sort of majority of people are really extremely concerned. We know that there are loads of people on strike, loads of people dissatisfied with the state, loads of people know that the government aren't doing a good job, they're not serving their interests. I think it's an ideal time for people to go out and popularise the idea of having a proper systemic change in politics, and that requires, you know, a more challenging conversation than we've been able to have, particularly on the media. So, you know, supposedly everyone, not quite everyone, has got the memo on the alarm. Like, we're fucking in trouble, and with these people that work in those buildings are not going to do what you need them to, you know.
So we're calling on people to have this conversation today. That the symbolism of this action was to pass the message. And absolutely, as you're saying, this is so important now. I guess a lot of the time it can be quite difficult, but we're asking people to have those conversations. We think now's the time. So many people out there get what's going on, but so many people, I think, not quite sure of what to do. And our what we're going to do in April the 21st and onwards is designed to get everybody involved. I'm super stoked.
Yeah, I mean, also I think we've got to look at like the landscape of the UK right now. It's like nurses, rail workers, even journalists who work for the fucking Daily Express were recently on strike. Like, people are on strike. It's not cool. Like, people can't afford to heat their homes. People are struggling to pay the bills, struggling to pay to eat. It's a moment, I think. Like, there's raw sewage being pumped into the rivers that people have been just kicked down the road. The powers that be have just kicked all that down the road, so we're not going to do anything about that either. You know, they're rolling back nature regulations. It goes on and on and on, and criminalising protest and criminalising striking workers and trying to make people's access to their own collective power. They're trying to pull the rug out from underneath everything that people have got in this country. People all over the world are looking at the UK right now and going, what is happening to your democracy? Because it's not okay, and it sends a very dangerous signal to the rest of the world. It sends a very dangerous signal, I think, to young people. A friend of mine said to me the other day, the young people in this country who are now criminalised for protest are being pathologised. They're basically climate hostages. I mean, we've got to see what that actually really means, you know, in the context of where we stand today, when we know 1.5 is out of reach, when we know so little is being done to, like, prevent, to mitigate, to adapt, to prepare for what's coming. You know, there's a lot to do, and we're being governed by idiots, basically. It's not right. You can't stand for it. It's your democracy. You've got to take responsibility.
And that's it. So we have got a clear call to people. We are asking people, you know, for those people who are uncomfortable, who are unhappy watching what's going on, we're asking those people who up till this point have not felt comfortable protesting, who have not felt able to stand with organisations like Extinction Rebellion, now is the time. If we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? We have to ask people, come down on the 21st of April. And I just want to say ask you one last thing, because I know this is something you get. This cost of living crisis that we're suffering right now, that is affecting millions and millions of people across this country. That's going to make people shivering, cold, unable to decide, you know, whether to eat heat their homes or feed their kids. This is because of the climate crisis. The problems we've got this is a symptom of what's going on. Lots of these issues pointing in the same direction, that we need to exit this fossil fuel era. And to me, the profiteering that's been going on in these last few months, this last year, making absolute massive amounts of money, whilst people are struggling. This is something that could have been avoided if we were to have instigated this green transition, this transition to a better future years ago. We could have saved that, and now we need that transition to start now. We're not going to do it, and I think it's crazy how much of the problems we're in right now are caused by this fossil fuel dependency that we have.
Yeah, completely. And it's people who work in buildings like that. That's the Shell building. They don't put their name on their own building anymore because they don't want anyone to know what it is. It's constantly boarded up so that people can't go anywhere near it. It's injuncted. Half of the UK is basically injuncted by companies like that because it's like the final throes of the fight. They've been telling lies. They've been distorting the truth. They've committed crimes against humanity, these companies, in order to pursue their own business model. They've wasted a generation with bullshit and lies, and it is their fault, and they do need to be held to account, and people are bringing legal cases against the CEOs of energy companies now, and I hope that they start to succeed, because quite honestly there's no greater crime than to destroy everything for everyone forever, is there? I mean, it's just unprecedented. There's nothing like it. And so yeah, it's really important that people understand how their energy bills, how those companies, how the way that those companies interact with the people in those buildings, how all of that is tied together, and also what's coming with the increasing crisis and people needing to campaign on all these fronts, is that if we can join the dots between fuel poverty, between climate, between strikes, between labour unions, between all the needs that people have in society right now, and the conservative kind of conservation space, I think you can see actually the majority of British people can see themselves as broadly being able to push in the same direction. And I really hope that happens, and I really hope that people take the opportunity to, whilst you're helping keep your community warm in a warm hub, you're also talking about the climate crisis, you're also talking about how to support the ambulance drivers and the striking nurses and the people who are campaigning for nature and wildlife.
Whew, thank you so much, Claire. I think it looks like we're kind of wrapping up here. Really appreciate all the work you've done, getting out in front of the media and everything like that. We are going to win this one. We are going to get 100,000 people onto the streets on April the 21st. We are calling on all people who up to this point have not felt able to join a protest, who have not felt able to come and get their voices heard. It feels great. It feels great to not just watch the news, to be a part of the news, to try to force this conversation forwards towards this better future that we feel in our bones. Don't deny that feeling. You know we can do better. We know that we don't have to stand for this. And it's the people in power right now who are letting us down. So we're calling on people, April the 21st, come and join us. Come and stay if you can until our voices are heard. This is about bringing people together, passing that message on, passing that message of hope, being a part of that change that we need. Please come down. Please sign up on our ticker. Go onto the Extinction Rebellion website. Say you're going to be there. We're going to collect all those numbers. We're going to see that number rising and rising as we get towards April the 21st. We're going to build momentum. And I truly believe if we come together, if we unite, we can create a future. We can get a pathway towards a future where we'll be able to thrive, where we'll be able to survive in a most beautiful, happy and healthy way. So please, please, please check out Extinction Rebellion's website, sign up with your local group, join our social media channels so you can hear about what's going on, and I'll see you on April the 21st. I'm going to be there. Thank you ever so much.
Everybody look sexy for the camera.